Well, despite last night's show, we're back to do it again. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to more Sports and Les Levine. Hopefully the morons have now cleared out, the Mike Tyson apologists, and we'll get to some real callers tonight because we have a real guest tonight. We don't want to embarrass him or me for that matter. Bill Futterer, who is the president of the Cleveland Browns, will be joining us in just a moment. We're up to day number 8 of the Boy Sherman, David Modell secret word of the day. Say that secret word, and it's a word heard every day in baseball. And even though Bill Futterer is here, we are still in the midst of baseball season. Say that secret word, we'll send you the cigars from the Cousin Cigar Company at 18th and Euclid, or the one on Chagrin Boulevard across from the Eaton Collection. You can reach us on email at letstalk@sportschannel.com, letstalk@sportschannel.com with any questions or comments. We do respond to them, and you can pick up those answers on the World Wide Web. We have a question of the week, and this involves Mike Tyson. Do you think Mike Tyson should be banned from boxing permanently? Do you think Mike Tyson should be banned from boxing? Send that answer and response to letstalk@sportschannel.com, letstalk@sportschannel.com. You can also send us requests of show guests or anything else to our our unlisted P.O. Box. It is More Sports and Les Levine, P.O. Box 22715, Cleveland 44122. Well, as you know, I am, in fact, the self-proclaimed voice of truth and reason in Cleveland sports. And now we're into round 2 of interleague play. The Indians in the midst of a 3-game series against their hated rivals, the Houston Astros. In the first game, Charles Nagy got the key hit. He also got a stolen base. They didn't call it a stolen base because they didn't even bother making a play on him. It was called catcher's indifference or defensive indifference. Why you would, with a 3-run lead, you would just let Charlie Nagy run out a second is beyond me. Anyway, Charlie Nagy got the first hit by an Indians pitcher in 25 years. The last one to do that was Steve Stunning Dunning. Cincinnati last night lowered their tickets to half price for the game against Milwaukee. And what did they draw? 3,000 less than average. It's time this experiment ends. The fans don't want it, the players don't want it, and it has nothing to do with chasing the pennant race. The Indians, as far as fans are concerned, should be playing the Chicago White Sox right now or the Kansas City Royals and not getting ready to play Pittsburgh in September when you get down the race toward the race for the pennant. It's time. I hope that's not an omen. It's time. We'll tell you about that in a moment. It's time. I've lost my track. What the heck? What am I talking about? I'm talking about interleague play. It's a bad experiment, and hopefully it doesn't last as long as the last experiment in baseball, which was the advent of the designated hitter in the American League only. That experiment has lasted some 25 seasons. Bill Futterer is with us tonight. We will talk about the Cleveland Browns and what is going on with them. And as you know, with the Major League Baseball All-Star Game coming to town, they need communications, how to find each other and where to find everybody else. And they are doing that just like the NBA did by calling Independence Communications at 1-800-524-MOTO. That's 1-800-524-MOTO for confidence in wireless. It was good enough for the NBA. It's good enough for Major League Baseball and their All-Star Game, as thousands of people will be coming in the next week or so to take part in that activity. Call Don DiGeronimo and his staff at 1-800-524-MOTO for Independence Communications. Bill Futterer will join us as we break away with a trivia question. Who made the last out at Cleveland's Municipal Stadium? Who made the last out? You might recall it was a strikeout with all the flash cubes popping. We'll come back with that answer and Bill Futterer. After we take this time out, you're watching More Sports and Les Levine. Well, who made the last out at Cleveland's Municipal Stadium? You might remember, it's a guy who I can't believe is still in the major leagues, Cleveland Indians infielder Mark Lewis, who struck out. Bill Futterer is with us. He has a different answer. We'll get to that in a moment. But as you see, the Browns are coming back, and right now Promotional Solutions is introducing the Countdown to Kickoff Watch. $55 includes shipping and handling. Call anytime, 24 hours a day, 1-888-781-8161. That number at the bottom continues to move down as up until the time the Browns will have their first exhibition game. Nobody knows what will happen on the day after that, which might be worth the $55 just to find out. And with that, what a segue that is as we bring in the president of the Cleveland Browns, Bill Futterer. Hello, Bill.
Hey, Les, how are you? And of course,
fine.
Today, July 1, 781 days. It's really moving down.
Yes, it is. It's also the anniversary of year 1 of your time here in Cleveland, and I don't know, did you think you'd make it a year?
Well, I thought we'd make it a year, and really I thought we'd be about where we are. We're very pleased with where we've been able to get to in the first year, with all the different facets that we're operating with here with the Cleveland Browns, and it's simply been a lot of fun. Cleveland's been wonderful for me.
575-0403 is our number if you have any questions for Bill Futterer. I know people ask me all the time, here's the guy you've got to ask, and he says no holds barred. He'll take just about any question, except about Mike Tyson. No, he's actually said he would talk about Mike Tyson, but we are here to talk about the Cleveland Browns and the situation right now. And well, let's recap, because that's number one. That's the reason why I wanted you here. You've been here about a year, and a lot of things have happened. Number one, I'm going to ask you this: when you pictured coming to Cleveland, did you picture the I don't know if strength is the word, but I don't know if ferociousness is the word either, but
maybe it's intensity.
The intensity of the level of the Cleveland Browns football fans. Did you anticipate it, or is it about what you thought?
Well, you know, Les, I anticipated intensity, but maybe not for the reasons that I believe I've found people to be intensive. I mean, I've been in other markets where people were passionate about whether it's basketball or baseball or football. But here in Cleveland, there's such an incredible history with the Browns. And there's a great history with the Indians as well, but the history is different. It's family-oriented history. It goes back generations with people. And I guess that's the difference. I've never seen anything quite like that.
Yeah. Well, we've known that all the time. And I think when you first came here, Bill, I think there might have been some negativity on some people's part because, hey, what's this outsider doing here? What does he know about Cleveland Browns football? Well, I think that there's good and bad to that. I might have been critical about that in the beginning, but there's another side, and the side is you have no preconceived notions. You have no ties to anybody in particular, so you can do what you perceive or the NFL perceives to be the right move without those emotional ties.
Well, I think that's a good observation, Les. You know, when I got here coming out of Florida, I had grown up a Cleveland Browns fan because in North Carolina, where I grew up, you had to pull for someone, and there was no one in North Carolina to pull for in football. And I looked and saw Jimmy Brown and Leroy Kelly and players like that. That's a natural for someone to gravitate toward. But when I did get here, I did not, as you say, I had no corporate favors. I had no friends that I had in Cleveland that were going to hit me up for a better seating location. I did no favors to anyone, nor do I need to cultivate them. So I could go in and make the decisions that were in the best interest of the National Football League, the Cleveland Browns, and the fans of the Cleveland Browns. And while we feel that we probably have not made 100% of the decisions that are going to please 100% of the people, what our observations are is that we've made a lot of right moves, and that our season ticket holders are genuinely pleased with the direction in which we're going, as is evidenced by a great turnout as far as our permanent seat license sales.
Yeah, but nobody's happy about them. I mean, yes, you've sold them, right, and people understand the need for them, but you also have to understand somebody saying, wait a minute, it's been in the family for 50 years, right, or 40 years or 20 years. Why am I paying for something I've been paying for over all those years?
Well, of course, what the permanent seat licenses are doing is paying for a new stadium. It's contributing toward a new stadium, which is something that the payments over those other years did not do.
Right.
But I understand how people would not be in favor of them. Don't get me wrong. We understand that. But it is a necessity. It's going to be a necessity in all stadia, we believe, going forward in all sports. And the reality is, I think people are starting to understand, wait a minute, I'm a season ticket holder. They gave me a steep discount. They're looking out for me by giving me priority seating. They're communicating with us, and that may be the most important thing. We're staying in constant communication with our season ticket holders, and we're going to be doing the same thing for the public as we start those public sales coming up. So, no, would anybody stand up and say, yes, I prefer a seat license? Actually, some people do because of the transferability and some of the other factors. But the reality is, it is a necessity in this day and age in Major League sports.
All right. The lines are jammed up already, as I suspected they would be, and I'm going to guess what the first two questions will be, so let me throw two questions at you.
All right.
Number one, in your own mind, are you satisfied, are you convinced that on that date when that Browns watch that you're wearing gets down to 0, that there will be a game in that stadium on that lakefront at 9th Street?
Well, we're very pleased right now with the situation on the stadium. Obviously, there have been issues concerning the concrete package, but yes, at this point, the stadium is still on time, and we continue to believe in Diane Downing and the mayor and his people with the city and HOK. I mean, let's face it, Les, in HOK, we have one of the finest architectural firms in the entire world. Huber Hunt Nichols is an expert at what they do, and so we have the best people with the city working on this situation. So we feel darn confident that we're going to be there in 781 days.
There's a report that the NFL has reserved, either financially or through something, all the Sunday dates in Columbus at Ohio Stadium for 98 and 99. True or false?
No, that's absolutely false. And unfortunately, that report was written without anyone calling us to verify it, and we would have noted that it was false. Probably what happened is someone referred to the agreement between the league and the city, which says that if the stadium is late, that the NFL could choose to play some home games in another NFL-approved stadium, and that the stadium in Columbus is approved. But that is absolutely incorrect.
Okay. Because the 98 part would lead somebody to believe that at the end of 97, some existing team would pull up stakes and play there for a year before coming up north.
Well, you know, Les, obviously that's why we would prefer people calling us before they write things like that, because it could lead someone to think what you're referring to for 97 and 98, which is just wrong.
Okay.
So that's unfortunate, but we have to deal with those
Question
things.
number 2, I'm going to guess, expansion or existing? Because I don't get that question more than every day, and I'm sure you don't either.
We get it a few times. You know, we've had 7,000 season ticket holders in our facility for various tailgate parties, and I think all 7,000 of them have asked the same question, and they have resoundingly told us what they believe and what they think, and we have continued to get that information to New York, so not only the league office but other owners know that these fans prefer expansion without question.
Let's clarify where you stand in this thing. Your position is to let the NFL know the feelings of the fans.
Absolutely.
But you have no say in the matter one way or the other. On whatever day that is when Paul Tagliabue calls you or the mayor or whoever and says, okay, it's expansion owned by A, B, C, or D, or it's relocation and here's the team, you have to say, okay, thank you very much? Is that pretty much how that happens?
Oh, yes, and as it's the way it should be, because the National Football League and the 30 owners that participate in that is their business, and they are the ones that should make that decision, and they will make that decision, and probably by November of 98, they're required to tell the city if it's expansion or relocation. So at that time, that time or before, we'll get that answer.
Okay, we're going to come back. We'll go to your phone calls. 575-0403 is the number. If you are coming down to an Indians game over the weekend or getting ready for the All-Star game, you want to stop in at Out of the Park, now located at 740 Prospect with an entrance on Huron also. And Out of the Park with that catalog number anywhere in the entire country. Call 1-800-227-0433. You're going to save a lot of money. And if you stop in and mention More Sports and Les Levine, you'll save an additional 10%. You can see the All-Star shirts we have up on top. Right now, we've got the black and the red shirts from Out of the Park at just $45. I've seen them elsewhere around town at $95 and $100. You can save plenty of money at Out of the Park at 740 Prospect. We'll come back with your phone calls. Bill Futterer of the Cleveland Browns will be with us, and we'll take your calls in a moment. You're watching More Sports and Les Levine. Well, she now became Nancy Lieberman Klein after that birthday. Well, Tanglewood Country Club is a great place, and starting right now, the annual membership fee will never be lower. No initiation fee, just one annual fee will open the door to all the amenities of Tanglewood. One of the greatest courses in this area, beautiful 18-hole course, over 7,000 yards of rolling fairways, and unfortunately for me, deep roughs. Tanglewood's course, the highest USGA slope rating in northern Ohio. All this and more with no initiation fee and one low annual fee. This is a limited time offer. Call Dennis Romanini today at 543-7010. Tanglewood Country Club, located off Route 306, just minutes from most of greater Cleveland. Bill Futterer is with us. I call it the Cleveland Browns Trust. Have we dropped that name for for easy purposes here?
Well, it really is easier to keep up with. It's not the official name of what we're doing. It's actually Cleveland NFL Football LLC, but Cleveland Browns works very well, and in fact, Les.
Oh, you came bearing gifts, I see.
Well, always bear gifts, I guess, for you, and since you're sartorially splendid on all occasions, I think you should.
Not only that, I wear nice clothes.
Not
right?
only that, but here's a Cleveland Browns countdown to 99
All right.
T-shirt for you.
Let me see here.
Did we give you an extra large?
That's what I want to see.
Oh, you're gonna be
unfortunately,
insulted.
it's the right size. I'm going to be a medium someday.
Okay, we'll gift you another shirt if you ever make that. That'll work.
Very good. And we have the Browns helmet now that adorns our Best Kosher Hot Dog cart back there. So.
Well, I think it's important to understand for people that that's the same Browns helmet they're going to see when 45 guys take the field 2 years from August 21, 1999.
You know,
97.
I just want to tell you, I think not having a logo is one of the neat things about the Browns.
It really is. It's kind of nice, isn't it?
All right, you ready to hit the phones?
Sure.
Well, are you ready for me to hit the phones?
Absolutely.
Bill's in Cleveland. Hi, Bill. Say hi to Bill from Berea. Hello? Hello, hello? No, not there? All right, we'll re-rack it. That's what I figured happened during the break. That's what I figured. All right. Your PSLs, where are we at now as far as number is concerned?
We have just finished our 20% discount group, so we're getting ready to go to about the last 9,000 season ticket holders that we have, which are the 15 and the 10%, and we're going into that with about 23,000 at this point, with some still to count.
23,000 sold?
23,000 sold permanent seat licenses,
Right.
and we still are yet to talk to 8,000 season ticket holders. Plus, we don't even include the 4,700 people who are Dog Pound season ticket holders
Right.
in the mix, who we also have not dealt with yet. So we're very pleased with where we stand right now.
And the Dog Pound is not a PSL.
There's no permanent seat license in the Dog Pound. That's correct.
What's reasonable? Now, when the Browns left, the season ticket number was at what, 41,000?
No, it was a little under 40,000 at that point, and historically teams in all sports will lose 10% or so a year for various reasons. People die, people move away,
Or
things like that.
20% in case Bill Belichick is
Or
involved.
whatever, right? but so we were hoping to get in the 70 to 75% range as far as renewals of season tickets, and we feel very confident that we're going to exceed that.
What is the probability on well, maybe not opening day, but on any day in 1999 where somebody could walk up to the gate and buy a ticket? Is that possible? Or how many do you project as up for public sale on game day or game week?
We are at this point going to have somewhere between 3,000 and 5,000 for single game tickets for each Browns game. That's our plan at this point. Of course, we don't know if at some point that future owner would turn around and sell those in season tickets. So we believe that the best way for a person to guarantee being able to see the Browns is going to be to buy either a permanent seat license or a seat in the Dog Pound with no permanent seat license.
Right.
That's the best way to do it.
Right. All right, now we're ready to try the phones. Hi, you're on More Sports and Les Levine with Bill Futterer. Go ahead.
Hi, Les. Hi, Bill.
How are you?
Hey, how are you?
Hey, you know, one thing about this PSL disturbs me, and maybe someone can explain it to me. Why are the people in the Dog Pound not required to purchase PSLs?
That's a very good question. It is part of the agreement between the NFL and the city. The city wanted to make sure there were some seats in the stadium that did not have a permanent seat license attached to them, and that was the way that deal was negotiated back originally in February of 1996 on an interim basis, and then it was sealed in June of 1996.
One of the things, and I think Chad is the caller from Lyndhurst, and I think without knowing for sure, Chad, I guess you would say about what I'm going to say, and that is, what makes a Dog Pounder a better fan than me or the guy next to me or the guy upstairs or downstairs? Is that right, Chad?
No question. I mean, why Dog Pound if I've been a?
I would assume that
yards.
I would assume that the impression is that it's the cheaper seat in the house, and therefore the common folk has a better chance of getting that.
You know, I think that, and I'm just speaking from my perception because that was decided before I came, but my perception is that it was that those people who sit in the Dog Pound were viewed by whomever negotiating at that point as having been the most forceful of all the season ticket holders who are wanting the Browns to come back. What I have found is similar comments that Chad has given as we've talked to 7,000 season ticket holders who say, well, gee, we wish it hadn't have been just the dog pound because we were just as vocal and we are just as much Browns fans. And in fact, in many cases, they've been season ticket holders for over 45 years. So we have also, however, tried to reward those people who have been season ticket holders with steep discounts. There is no discount to the dog pound as it relates to their season tickets.
But,
so,
you know,
but I understand the position. It's certainly a reasonable point for anyone to take.
Yeah, I mean, the thought that just because a guy dresses up in a dog suit makes him a better fan or a longer fan, the reality is that the people you've already sold your PSLs to probably have been Browns fans much longer and have spent their money much longer than those people.
Absolutely no question about that. Most of the season ticket holders in the dog pound have been ticket holders for 10 years or under. It tends to be a younger group of fans and people who want that kind of football experience. So whether an error was made on that, I really don't know, but I can tell you there are a lot of fans that share Chad's feelings.
Sure. And of course the dog pound really came into existence. I mean, the bleachers have been there forever, but under Frank Minifield and Hanford Dixon and so on. Let's go to Dave in Old Brooklyn. Hi, Dave.
Yeah, hi, Les. How are you?
Fine. How you doing?
Real good.
Good.
Great show.
Today?
Les, every time the Tribe beats the Astros.
Historically speaking.
Absolutely. Mr. Futterer, good afternoon. How are you?
Hey, Dave, how are you?
Good. Quick question, then I'll hang up and listen to the answer. As of late, I've heard some rumors that cost overruns are abounding as we speak for this new stadium. Can you talk to us about that and tell us that it's not true? Or is...
Whoops, I lost him. He said he was going to hang up. He lied. I hung up.
He hung up.
All right.
Yeah.
How do you know there's cost overruns before? I mean, all there is a hole in the ground. They haven't even poured a piece of cement yet.
Well, you're absolutely right, although Dave makes a valid point as far as his question, because there has been a great deal of publicity about the concrete bid package because the estimate and the actual bid did not come in and match up. First of all, until we resolve that bid package, we won't know where we stand on it. But the city and Diane Downing as project manager and Huber Hunt and the architect HOK are working very hard to sort through that and find out the way it's going. Of course, the first several bid packages came in just fine from a budget standpoint. I will tell you that we and the National Football League both have a great deal of confidence that the city's going to be able to get this thing built on time, and we're hopefully they'll be able to do it on their budget and be able to give us all the things in the agreement concerning the quality of the stadium, which is, I mean, we got to have it, can't have an 80-yard football field. You got to have it the full length. But they are doing everything they can to resolve those differences.
I would like an 80-yard field, and then we can eliminate the red zone where the Browns have never been very good.
A lot of football teams would like that too.
Getting back to the stadium, is there any, I mean, I know at the time at least, as far as the dome is concerned, I know what your thoughts were. Is that a dead issue? Are we now open air, or are there still some people out there talking about a dome?
You know, I got to tell you, I don't know where the dome proponents stand at this point. I know they were trying to get names on a petition to try to get it on a ballot. I would hope that everyone at this point would realize just how difficult it is to build a stadium without a lid on it for a budget. It's a very, very difficult process because it's a huge project. And to try to put a lid on it or to try to redesign for that is just simply, in our view, not a practical thing, although the league says, gee, give us a dome, give us a no dome. But it's just the timing isn't right for it.
All right, Bill Futterer is with us. I want to remind you about the only sun deck in the Gateway area that belongs to Pete and Dewey's Planet, and they are the center of the baseball universe. Nothing on the menu over $10. Stop in before or after any Indians game or any event in the Gateway area at Pete and Dewey's Planet. We'll come on back at 575-0403. Bill Futterer from the Cleveland Browns is with us. Going back to that 1964 NFL championship game, how many touchdowns did wide receiver Gary Collins score as Frank Ryan tossed in at least one? We'll come back with that in a moment. You're watching more sports at Les Levine. NFL championship game. Gary Collins, 3 different times from Frank Ryan. The answer 3, all in the second half. A scoreless first half. The Browns go on to win 27-0 over the Baltimore Colts at frigid Cleveland Stadium, and that is in Well, that would be just about any month. That was December 27th of 1964. This Friday, July 4th, live thoroughbred racing at Thistledown continues, and you've got a chance at $100,000 in the Do the Dough contest, sponsored by Mountain Dew. Every fan with a paid admission will receive an entry blank, and maybe you could be a finalist, receiving a chance to select one Mountain Dew pop bottle from the 200 bottles. Every bottle contains at least $500, plus 5 bottles contain another $1,000. 3 more bottles contain $1,000 on a trip for 2 to Myrtle Beach, and 1 bottle contains $5,000 and another one $100,000. Gates open at 11:30. First race at 12:55. Join Thistledown for Do the Dough, and that'll be on July 4th, this coming Friday. Unless, of course, you're watching this on Sports Channel, and then we had a great day out at Thistledown the other day. Bill Futterer is with us from the Cleveland Browns, and Pat is from Cleveland. Hi, Pat.
How you doing, Les?
How are you?
Okay. I had a couple of just quick questions. One, when are the actual PSLs going to go out, the licenses themselves? And then also...
Yeah, excuse me, what is a license? Is it a piece of paper? Is it a thing you put in your wallet?
Yes, it's going to be a document that you will get, and it's a contract, actually, that would be signed to follow up the order that you made. So, Pat, to answer that first part of the question, the 50% and 40% discount purchasers are getting theirs literally this week, and then we'll be following up with the 30s and the 20s. We're doing it in all cases. It'll be within 2 months of the deadline date for your order.
You going to take pictures like driver's license, have ugly pictures on there?
You know, it's an interesting point, and I want to go back to Pat to see what else he had to ask, but we really want to treat it almost like a benefit club, where in addition to the football right to buy the tickets and to transfer and all those benefits, that there should be some other benefits attached to it. So we're working on that right now as well.
All right, Pat, go ahead. Sorry for interrupting.
Yeah, that's okay. And then the other thing was, like, are you going to actually have I know you can't have an actual seat assignment yet, but are you going to have actual section assignments yet? So, you know, like where you'd be in, like, A, B, C, or F, or what?
Yes, absolutely. We'll be able to tell you that. In fact, when you get your letter with your contract, it will advise you that you've gotten your first choice or your second choice. So far, everyone has gotten in the 50, 40, and 30% groups. Everyone has gotten either their first or second choice.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Pat.
Thank you very much. 575-0403 is the number. 216 is the area code. Bill Futterer is with us. You got a whole bunch of events coming up too that I know you want to talk about.
Well, we really do, and I think one of the exciting things that our entire staff has found over this first year is that we are doing just about everything a National Football League franchise does except play games on Sunday. We may be even more involved in community relations and community events than many teams. We have 3 alumni football games coming up this year, one at Youngstown State, one at the Pro Football Hall of Fame Stadium, which is formerly named Fawcett, but they just rededicated it, and one at Case Western Reserve here in Cleveland. So we're very excited about repeating the success of last year from the standpoint of alumni games. In addition to that, we've got a major celebration that people will be hearing more about on August 21 of this year, which is our 2-year anniversary to the kickoff of the next home game.
All right, let's go to Mike in Lyndhurst. Hi, Mike.
Hi, Les. How you doing?
I'm fine. How are you?
Good. Great show.
Today?
Always.
Thank you.
I wish to question Mr. Futterer something you mentioned earlier. Maybe it was a slip, but you indicated that the NFL may make us aware by November of 1998. Now, the original agreement between the NFL and the city of Cleveland was not 1998, sir. It was 1997. And I believe if you go back and look at all the documentation. Now, if it does turn out to be 1998, I find it very difficult to believe that can possibly be an expansion team because it will not be able to be established in that shorter period of time. I'll hang up and listen to your comments.
All right, Mike,
Okay.
Thank you.
Mike, that's a great question. I'm really glad you asked it. No, I did not slip up when I said November of 1998. There were a couple of inaccurate media reports that came out in the very early going that said it was November of 1997. The agreement between the league and the city all along has said, and I mean, it's right there in black and white. We wish we could get everyone to read that agreement. The agreement says that the NFL will attempt to let the city know by November of 1997, but will for certain tell the city by November of 1998 if it is an expansion team, and will tell the city by March of the year in which the team begins play if it's a relocated team. So the reality is all along it's been November of 1998. Unfortunately, it was reported differently. Now, let's go to the second part of his question, which is a very valid one. That is, can you name a team in November and be prepared to play? Well, the NFL is already aware of those issues that a team would need to involve in let's say 12 months prior to starting play. And so the league has already started working on how they would address things like scouting college players and scouting prospective free agents. So the league, if it becomes a date of October and November when it's announced that it would be expansion.
Of 98.
Right, of 98, would already have set up ways to be able to involve the
All
scouting.
right, so you always had a thing called Blesto, which was the scouting union and all that stuff. So what you're saying is that if it does go till November of 98, there will be a process already there where the new owner, whether it's, well, we all know who they are. I don't want to name names. I mean, I wouldn't expect you to respond to any names, but that person would come in and reports would be on his desk to say, here are the guys you might want to draft. Here are the guys you might want to take on the expansion pool.
The league is already working on that. In fact, the league has been working on that process for at least 90 days, maybe a little bit longer than I'm trying to recall. I think it was about 90 days ago.
Tell them
that we
to leave Mike
discussed it.
Lombardi out of it.
In addition to that, let's also be realistic. Any person who is looking at committing in the hundreds of millions of dollars for an expansion franchise is already looking at football talent. They're already trying to understand what the situation is. They're already looking at coaching candidates. These are very bright men and women who would be able to foot the bill. So yes, they're already in that process.
But you also have, as far as I can tell, and I could throw names at you, probably 3 or 4 legitimate names out there who would be potential owners, and I'm sure there's 3 or 4 behind the scenes that nobody knows about. So number one, they have to decide if it's expansion. Number 2, which one do they pick out of the hat?
Yes, they have to make both of those decisions, and we believe that decision will likely come closer to November of 1998 than any other date, because the owners and the league who will be making that decision are going to make sure they have all the available information in order to make the best possible decision.
All right, let's say November, the next meeting, as I understand it, is October of 97.
That's correct.
The league meeting, which is where, by the way?
I'm not sure where the October meeting is this year. I think it's usually Florida.
I was going to guess there'll be a
October.
beach involved. I'm just guessing.
But so that's the October meeting. They have another meeting in March and another one in May.
Okay, let's say we get, it's October of 97, and Tagliabue will have his State of the Union address and all that stuff, and somebody will ask him the inevitable question about Cleveland. If we pass November of 97 without a firm answer, or at least an idea, is it fair to assume one way or the other that you just said it'll be closer to November of 98. Is it fair to assume if it's closer to 98 that A, that means expansion, or B, that means a relocation team, or shouldn't we infer anything from that?
I think it's wrong to try to infer anything from it. The reality is they've got until November 98 to make the best business decision they can make. And I don't think there's any inference to be drawn from it. I think the reality is that there are stadium issues that exist around the country. There have been stadium issues that existed July 1st a year ago when I arrived. Those stadium issues were in Tampa and Cincinnati and San Francisco and Seattle. Guess what? They're all resolved. And the league
with Cleveland being used as a carrot in some instances.
I'm not sure how Cleveland was used by other owners, but I can tell you the reality is they're all resolved. And I think I know the league is working very hard to resolve all the other stadium issues, and they've had great success in getting resolution. So I think the best thing for the fans to do is to let the process occur. And so far they've gotten a very good deal, I think, between the league and the city, which is bringing the team back. I mean, this helmet is still going to have no logo on it, and that's the way it should be. Sure, we're barely 2 years off now from having a team back. The process has really worked. And I think it's best to let the process work. And look at the last 2 expansion owners the National Football League has awarded. You could not find better owners than Wayne Weaver in Jacksonville and Jerry Richardson in Carolina. So we're seeing the league make very good decisions when it comes to expansion and expansion ownership.
Well, my concern, I have a lot of concerns, but one big one is if in November of 98 they say it's a relocation team and here it is, the backlash that you'll get may rival the backlash that happened when Art Modell showed up in Baltimore.
Well, we'll come back from this break and we'll talk about it.
We will. Very good. You heard the music. All right, now ADT Security Systems has some great news for you. You can enjoy the peace of mind if you're a homeowner of an ADT home security system with absolutely no charge for installation simply by calling ACT Security Systems at 1-888-228-7723. That's 1-888-228-SAFE. In an emergency, ADT can call police, medical personnel, and the fire department, and you've got peace of mind 24 hours a day. As an ADT authorized dealer, ACT Security Systems gives you a free home security review, and they'll recommend the ADT system that's right for you, and a basic system can be installed at no charge. If you call right now 24 hours a day, 1-888-228-SAFE. ACT Security Systems, your ADT authorized dealer. We will continue to talk with Bill Futterer after we come back from this break. You're watching more Sports and Les Levine. Walter Johnson, that's a ton of shutouts in there. And he had a bat, too. The official kosher hot dog of Cleveland sports fans at Jacobs Field is Best Kosher Hot Dog. The official all-beef kosher hot dog of the Cleveland Indians. It is thick, it is juicy, it's flavorful, just like the ones you enjoy at Jacobs Field when you're watching the Indians. And if you can't make it to Jacobs Field, Best Kosher products are available at your local grocery store. Right now, they got the new product out, Best Kosher Sports Dogs. They're what Cleveland sports fans are learning to love. Don't forget to mark your calendar for the Best Kosher Cleveland Indians tailgate party at Mel's Grill on 9th Street. That'll be on August 15th. Come on down for the hot dog eating contest and the live auction with all proceeds benefiting the Cleveland Indians charities. Well, there you see. The Best Kosher Hot Dog is wearing a Cleveland Browns helmet. We don't know. You don't know yet who the official hot dogs will be at the new stadium yet, so it's okay to tie them in right now. We have our countdown to 99. That won't move, will it? That's 99 is etched in whatever that is. Wood
99 is the agreement between the league says if the city gives us a stadium, we'll have a team in 99, and we're certainly counting on it. We've got 16 people hard at work at our offices ready to bring it back.
And of course, I've checked with Bill and told him that I'm willing to come up with the money to have the naming rights, Chavez Levine. Bill Futterer is with us from the Cleveland Browns. Just before the break, I said something about the air coming out of the balloon of Browns fans who have bought on faith PSLs and everything you have told them about, and the mayor has told them, and we're ready to go for 99. I just envision in November of 98 them saying, Paul Tagliabue saying, all right, we now give you the relocated whatever, Buffalo Bills, Minnesota Vikings, or whatever, and I see about 40,000 season ticket holders or 60,000, whatever that number, going, oh, they did it to us again.
Well, Les, I can understand how people would be concerned about who's going to be playing in their football field in 1999. No question about it. We wonder about it a great deal. But one of the things that people, I think, need to understand is, first of all, those people who are buying season tickets now are being rewarded by their willingness to go forward in confidence with the team. In the case of season ticket holders, they're getting big discounts. In the case of people who aren't season ticket holders, they're getting the priority seating option. So they're going to have the best seats in the house. That's the first side of it. The other side is we deal with that question to 7,000, as I say, of our season ticket holders already. And I'm out every week, 2, 3, 4 times, talking to 75 or 100 people at a pop. They all ask the same question. They all have the same concerns. And here is what they're starting to understand now, and that is, regardless of whether it's expansion or relocation, the financial, the economic condition that we're putting together for this new owner is going to be strong enough that that owner, whether expansion or relocation, is going to come in and be successful in Cleveland. We believe that. I believe that. Because it's going to be a terrific opportunity for anyone to come in and be immediately successful. The other thing, it's not like it was when Tampa Bay came into the league before free agency was prolific. What happens now is you come in from let's say, a market where you did not have the same economic condition, and all of a sudden you're in Cleveland. You've got a great circumstance. You have the ability to go get top-notch free agents. You can get well very quickly. And we believe that's what would happen with any team that comes into Cleveland.
Although my guess is the NFL didn't like the fact that Jacksonville and Charlotte almost made it to or Carolina, almost made it to the Super Bowl in year 2. I would think that 28 other owners were not very happy with that, and therefore the rules of the game may change for an expansion team.
You know, I've been to a lot of owners' meetings now. And I have not heard, maybe there has been an owner or two who has expressed some displeasure with it, but I really haven't heard that. And I'll tell you, these are competitive men who want to win, And I think one of the great things that happened in sports in 1996, 97 was the fact that Carolina and Jacksonville made huge runs toward the Super Bowl. It excited fans in those markets, and it excited people in other markets who have become Carolina and Jacksonville fans. I think we have to also remember that every person in the United States is not fortunate enough to be like the people in Cleveland, the 4 million people who are around this area, directly in a National Football League market. And they have to look for someone to pull for as well. And these teams captured their imagination. I think the competition was looked on terrifically by the people in the NFL. And I don't think you're going to see, they're not going to be trying to put Cleveland in a situation where they're not competitive. That is not good for any sport. Parity is what they've been going for years. They've got it. They like it.
Let me go back to something you touched on before where you said you have no ties to anybody and all that stuff. And you told me, I don't know, a couple of months ago, and I want to see if it's changed. I said, what happens on day one of the new Cleveland Browns when they play? And you said something to the effect of, well, maybe after the first quarter or after they flip the coin for the kickoff, that you may head on an elevator, go on down to the bottom, and just take off into the sunset.
Well, I guarantee you, Les, I'll watch that first game with a lot of interest, and because I'm a permanent seat license holder, I'll be at other Cleveland Browns games. You can bet on that. But the reality is, my work is likely done in Cleveland. My job is to lead the effort to put this team back on the field in a very sound economic condition that the fans are going to enjoy for years to come. My expertise is fixing broken situations. And the reality is that when this team comes back, it's fixed and it's going to be purring, and the people are going to love watching those guys in the orange and brown and white go out and kick some rear in football. And that's what we're starting to take the message to fans. It is time to start talking about football. I mean, we've got a television network and a radio network. We're going to be starting August 31, the first day of football season. We're not going to be talking about all the business aspects that have been ruling this. We're going to start talking about who's going to be available in the 1999 draft. That's what we need to look at.
Let's jump back to some other misconceptions that are out there, because we assume that some things are the way they are, dates and things of that sort. Yes or no to these questions. Is it correct that in the agreement that the Cleveland Browns will be in the Central Division of the AFC?
It is correct that they are required to be in the same division as the Cincinnati Bengals and the Pittsburgh Steelers, even if relocation or realignment is necessary.
But not necessarily the Baltimore Ravens.
No, that is not part of the agreement.
Okay,
that's correct.
But they will be in the same division as Pittsburgh and Cincinnati.
Absolutely, to keep those tremendous rivalries alive.
Okay, let's go to Brian, who's in South Euclid. Hi, Brian.
Hi, how are you?
Fine, how are you?
Good. Question for Bill. Bill.
Yes.
We met at one of those dinner things you had out at the training complex.
How'd you like it?
Oh, it was great. The food was wonderful, and you're a very smooth man.
Smooth.
But my question is, the seat assignments were supposed to be made for the PSL purchasers by now, and they haven't been yet. What's holding it up, and when do you expect them to be made?
The first group was a 50% discount group, and they're going out about two weeks late. And the 40% are on time, and all the others are expected to be on time.
Well, I'm in the A group, and I haven't received my...
Are you in the 50% discount group, Brian?
Yes, I am.
Okay. Yours is going out literally. It either went out Friday or it went out Monday, so you will be receiving it this week.
Thank you.
If you're
welcome.
watching this on Sports Channel, how did you like them?
If I was watching what?
Never mind.
Okay.
All right, anything else?
No, thank you.
All right,
Thank you, Brian.
Hey, some great Cleveland area restaurants we'd like you to try, and that would include Wexler's Tavern and Eatery, great neighborhood restaurant and bar, located at 4555 State Road in Old Brooklyn, about a half mile off the I-480 State Road exit. Mondays, the offense comes in, buys a burger, the defense gets it free. Buy one, get one free at Wexler's Tavern and Eatery. All kinds of great specials out at Benny Shapiro's. Same thing, 2-for-1 specials on Mondays and Wednesdays. Buy a prime rib sandwich for $5.95, second one absolutely free. Tuesdays and Thursdays, it's the burger department. Buy one for $4.95, second one absolutely free. The Sokolowski family at the University Inn wants you to know that starting on the 3rd, they're going to be closed up for vacation. The whole gang just takes off and goes away, and they'll come on back on the 14th of July. So save up your chance to go to the University Inn. Probably the longest time for any restaurant in this area to be in the same location They started back with their grandparents back in 1923. We'll come on back with Bill Futterer, and as a guest here in studio, as well as all other guests, receive a gift certificate from the Hugo Boss Factory Outlet located on West 53rd Street, just outside of downtown Cleveland. Take the West 44th Street exit out of I-90 going to the west. It's open each and every day, 7 days a week, saving 30 to 60%. We'll come on back one more time with Bill Futterer and the question about the NHL. You remember that when the WHA rated all the NHL teams? Each team wanted one superstar, and the Crusaders certainly got one. We'll be back in a moment on more sports and Les Levine. A long-time NHL All-Star, played goalie for the WHA Cleveland Crusaders. Was it Bob Whidden? No, it was Gerry Cheevers. Had a chance to play golf with Bob Whidden. What a great guy. He's also the coach of the St. Edwards hockey team. Gerry Cheevers actually Whidden had a better year than Cheevers did that year. Hey, join us for some of the trips. Action Travel is going out to follow the Cleveland Indians on the road to Minnesota. You have to hurry on that one. Texas, Oakland, Chicago, and Kansas City. We'll be on the Oakland trip. We'll make it Jacobs Field West from the 22nd to the 25th. Call Action Travel, a certified Indians travel partner, and we'll go out on Continental Airlines, an official airlines of the Cleveland Indians. Call 1-800-391-1167. Bill Futterer is with us. And what number will you be wearing when you play for the Browns in '99?
What number will I be
Yes.
wearing? Actually, I've got a number 99 jersey right now that hangs around, and I can look at it, and it reminds me we've got X number of days to get this job done.
Right, right. All right, the Browns, so we've established that there will be a team of some sort here in August of '99.
A good team.
Okay. How
Here.
do we know that? How do you know
it's
that?
going to be good. I feel very confident in that. I have felt confident in that all along because of if it's expansion, the NFL is doing it the right way with great owners, and if it's relocation, the economic condition is going to be such that it's going to improve whomever comes in. So I feel great about it.
Let me go back to the expansion. We talked about the city, you, the mayor, me. We have no choice. Whatever the NFL tells us, that's who we have. And let's say there are 4 or 5 legitimate candidates to own it, and the NFL will use whatever criterion that they use. It's obvious there's one person involved that the fans would like to see. Is the NFL aware of that also?
Oh, no question. There are some extremely good ownership candidates who have identified themselves. A couple who are very popular here in Cleveland, and the NFL is very aware of that. Lest we take information from the fans and from the business community and from the political community and from the media. We even listen to you. We take it back to, we take it back to New York because we think it's important. And I take it to owners' meetings, whether I had an opportunity at the last one to spend some significant time with people like Dan Rooney and Wayne Weaver and Jerry Richardson. And we get that information to them. Why? Because they ask. They want to know what people think. And so we do get that information to them.
Because I think the biggest job that you have, your impression of what you need to do is different than what mine is. Mine is that you or somebody, whether it's Tagliabue or somebody, has to redevelop a trust to the NFL, because what happened here in Cleveland, everybody will agree, was a disaster. And there is a distrust of owners, a distrust of the league itself, and somehow something has to be done by, quote, the powers that be, to let them know that, okay, we screwed up and it shouldn't have happened, and we won't let it happen again, and B, here's what we're going to do to make it right.
Well, Les, a couple of things. First of all, I think the commissioner was visionary in doing what he led the effort to do, which is to have us in Cleveland for 3 years to work on this thing. I mean, this is historic. It's never happened. And so I'm very pleased that effort. And I think it goes beyond football. The reality is that fans across the country have lost a certain amount of confidence in a variety of professional sports, whether it's owners and athletes. I mean, we had a terrible thing happen in boxing last week. It's more confidence that's lost. And so I think it's a wonderful opportunity, and one of the great things about this position for me is that I've had the opportunity to maybe find a way to do things a little different. Like bringing 7,000 fans into our facility, for example. We're reaching out and touching fans one-on-one, and we think that's the way professional sports ought to operate.
Let's go to Len in South Euclid. Hi, Len.
How you doing,
Good, how are you?
Good. Bill, the question I have for you is, a few weeks ago I was reading where the Mayor White had, there were some problems with the cement contractors and the bids, and there was some question as to whether they're going to break the bids down into 3 bids. And I'd been out of town, and I hadn't heard anything. Has that been resolved?
We got to do it quickly. So
All right, they are working very hard to resolve that issue. They brought in experts, they're working with the architects, and they're doing everything they can to get a resolution. We believe they're going to get there.
All right, we got to wrap this up. As always, it is a pleasure
Thank you,
having
Les.
you. And you
Always a
have an
pleasure.
open invitation to that seat. What did you tell me next time we're going to switch around?
Next time I get to switch and interview you, there's so many juicy things I'd like to talk to you about.
My life is an open book. Fortunately, it hasn't been read by too many people. We'll do it again
Thank you.
at any time you'd like.
Thank you for having
Bill
me.
Futterer of the Cleveland Browns. Don't forget, tomorrow night we'll go up and down the dial with Bill Needle, and Hal Lebovitz will be with us on Thursday night. Friday night we'll replay Wednesday's show. It's the 4th of July. I'm going to be on a cookout. I don't care what you're watching. And we'll do it again all next week. All right, as our multi-week contract has been extended again. We'll see you tomorrow night. Of all the shows I've ever done, this was the most recent.